Hey guys, this is John. All right, new series, jumping right into it. It's been a while since I've had a new series, so I'm excited about this one. I posted a video maybe a week ago. It was a Blitz video using the clock as a weapon, and I asked in the comments whether people would like to see this as a series, and I got some positive feedback on it, so we're rolling with it. And the intent of this series is to train my intuition and try to trust my instincts a little bit better. Making quick decisions, not dwelling on decisions that are pretty similar looking. So just trying to play fast. These are only 3-minute games. I'm probably going to play 10 games per session is what I'm going to aim for. And we'll try to keep this series going long term, but focusing on playing fast. And yeah, strict limit of 10 games, no matter what the result, whether I go 10-0, 0-10, or anywhere in between. And I would highly recommend that, by the way, if you're looking to improve, establishing the amount of games that you want to play immediately in a session. I think it builds discipline quite nicely. So, all right, I like my pawn duo in the center here. Queen d3 looks pretty good. I'm attacking the knights. I can back up this. I'm not going to move this pawn in front of the other one yet because it's way more uncomfortable for black, I think, if I maintain the tension for now. Yeah, now here, all right, this is weak. This is also weak. Knight e4 looks like a pretty natural move. I'm going to play it. I'll probably play bishop g7. He's got to cover f6. And now knight f6 may present some problems tactically, but I think to preface that, I'm going to go here. And let's see how black reacts. I'm a bit behind on the clock, but we're on move 21. I've only used 1 minute. I'm feeling good. Okay, now knight f6 again. Looks very challenging. Knight f6, take. I'm threatening queen h6. All right, let's try it. He can play like queen d6, for instance. Okay, yeah, that was the move I was hoping for because now I feel like he's going to be very hard-pressed to deal with this. Probably has to play g5. I think g5 is the only move. So he can play queen f5 after rook h3. Okay, he just resigned. But yeah, I think he does have a defense here by playing this, rook h3, queen f5. And he holds the h7 point. Looks very uncomfortable for him, but I was thinking about if g5 was played, maybe even playing rook g3 or trying to enlist this other rook, like rook e1, try to get this rook here. That actually looks quite strong. Because even if black plays rook e8, I have ideas like this and unleash that bishop on the long diagonal if I get the chance. All right, so won the first game, finished with 1:42. I'll try to take a moment after each game to just very briefly assess what happened. You know, this is the Clock as a Weapon series, 3-minute games. I'm not going to get into very serious analysis on these, most likely, unless the game is super interesting. Try to keep the momentum going, focusing on the overarching goal, trusting my instincts, trying to improve my intuition. I guess those are sort of related things. Okay, let's play bishop g5. Pin the Danny. Interesting username. I wonder if this is a reference to Danny Wrench, one of our favorites. I'm good friends with him, at least. Some of you may have various opinions about Danny. He's a very nice guy, but some people like his brand of humor. Others do not, it seems. Okay, a4. I like this undermining move. I'm trying to get the c4 square if black plays b4, which I think black will. Okay, queen b6. He's going to keep the tension. So knight e5 is one move I'm looking at. Queen b3 can be met by bishop d5. Not so thrilled about that. I don't see anything immediately, so I'm just going to play h3. Helpful move in almost every case. Yeah, black brings a rook to the center. Makes sense. Let's play... Bishop f4 is interesting. I'm going to go bishop f4. I'm not sure my bishop's really doing a whole lot here anymore. I like this now that I have h3 available, or h2 rather, available to retreat to. So let's make use of that square. Yeah, I think he's trying to avoid b4 because he knows my knight's going to jump in if he goes there. Likewise, if black takes, even though it'll uncover an attack here, I get knight c4 in. Okay, the knight comes there. I'm going to do something kind of interesting here. Queen b1. Maybe a prelude to this. Also this. Would not be surprised to see him playing c4 sometime soon. Getting the rook over to c1 could help, because maybe I'm ready to play b3 as an undermining move. But I'm not entirely clear what my next move is going to be after rook c1, that is. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, I mean, already I'm up an appreciable amount of time. Okay, let's do this. My queen's a little boxed in, but I don't see any way he can exploit that. Yeah, so now he can meet this with this. So perhaps knight e4. I'm going to jump. Maybe make my way here, but it depends. Yeah, I think I like that. Keep the tension. Knight e5 could be on the way. Okay, now I'm physically blocking this pawn, I'm noticing. So maybe I can take, and again, play this b3 move. Really start hammering that queenside structure. Take, b3 looks pretty promising. And if b4, knight a4. Gain a tempo on the queen. Black won't be able to establish the pawn on c3 after that. So I'm guessing black's going to take and play b4. Let's pre-move this. Could take b5, but I don't think it's worth messing with that. Just kill the pawn on b3. Knight goes back. Okay, that was not really expected. Here I should have multiple good moves. Yeah, let's do this one. Knight e5, perhaps? I am exposing myself on this diagonal, but queen d5, bishop f3. And I want to gang up on this pawn on c4. That's the main point of this. Bishop e4, I just play queen b2. Feels fine. This pin is awkward for him. Also, I can do this in the very near future. Let's go here. And he's already got a hustle. That is the intended effect of this whole experiment. Okay, knight c3, I don't like as much. e4 is interesting. e4, let's play e4. It looks complicated. I am weakening the d4 square slightly when I do this, but that queen has some issues. Now let's advance. This may lose a pawn, but okay. Let's go here. Just keep the momentum. Keep it going. d4. Okay, interesting. All right, let's jump in. I mean, it's complicated, probably not in my favor, but what can be done? The die has been cast. Let's just keep going here. Keep rolling. d4 is weak. I have a strong c-pawn. I'll take that, I guess. Let's chase his queen now. He's going to take... Okay, take here for sure. Let's take... Let's go here. Okay, let's blockade. Let's go here. Queen h5, I'm going to check. Okay, he does that. That's a good move. Oh, I didn't mean to go there, but all right, didn't affect things. Oh, man. Okay, I got him on the clock, point 2. That guy was pretty fast, and clearly a good player. But we got him on the clock, eked out a win. All right, I'll take it. Shout out to Oliver Adelson in the Twitch, the chess.com chat. I am not streaming this on Twitch. This is just a local recording, but Oliver is watching. All right, playing another very strong blitz player here. Let's play bishop g5. So this Tory, but against e6. I actually don't think this version of it is as good as a normal Tory, or the Tory that I often play. I shouldn't say it's a normal Tory against g6, but it's easy to play. Play a bunch of natural moves. Anti-time trouble opening, right? And I do think black played pretty well that last game, but that time advantage I had built up really proved handy. He had to hustle at the end. So good start to the session. Let's keep it going. Let's play this. I'm going to prep bishop a6 if I can. And by the way, I should say, I hope to win games, but the overarching goal is just to consistently try to be even or ahead on the clock. Pretty simple. I think if I do that at this time control, good things are going to happen. Okay. Queen b7, queen d7 doesn't seem to amount to much, so I'm going to go back. Okay, let's jump in. Pre-move this capture. I think I'm going to take with the pawn either way. Okay, so he's slightly weakening his position here. Let's play this. Thinking about taking on d6. Let's do it. I'm going to do this and then play e4 coming up. Change the structure a little bit. Don't think my knight's going to get trapped. It feels okay. Let's bring this over. His structure looks a little janky. It's possible to defend this, but I have some weaknesses I can play against. 2 pawn islands for me, 2 for him, but somehow his look a little weaker. e5 now, perhaps? Yeah, this should give me a structural advantage for sure. Now he has 3 pawn islands to my 2. Backward e6 pawn. Okay, so he's going to keep the tension. He's eyeing up f2 as well. Let's play this for now. And if c4, I can retreat. Okay, let's go here. Okay, let's go here. If knight f4, I feel like knight e5 should be all right. Knight e5 threaten knight d7. Extra 20 seconds. Hopefully it proves handy. Thinking about b4 here. Let's go b4. Trade queens if he captures. I'll have some targets, whether I take with the rook on b4 after that, after the trade of queens, like the pawn on b6 will be attacked. c3 becomes weak, but e6 and b6 remain weak for him. Ooh, exchange sack. Interesting. Got to take it, of course. I am on this. So he's playing for checkmate. Okay, let's start with this move. I don't want this pawn to fall with check. If his queen comes to this diagonal, I can play queen e5. Got to make sure his queen... Okay, interesting move. Let's take... Let's go queen e5. Queen e5, d3. Should be okay. I can play rook e3. If you play knight d3, I had queen takes e6, by the way. That was the plan. Okay, he definitely wants into h4. Okay, threaten mate. Make him do something about that. Don't want that pawn to slip through. Tricky business here. Okay, I'm going to bring this back. I'm not sure. Queen h4, rook g3, I'm thinking. Okay, I'm now down on the clock, so time to play faster. Can he take and play d2? Hopefully I can play rook g1. That is not a valid pre-move, John. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's try to stay active here. He might just be able to take that. Okay, let's take this. Maybe harass him with my rook. Let's cut off his king. C3, that's annoying. Got to stop knight C3. Here's knight D4. Annoying. That's a good move. Okay, not clear though. Not clear at all. What's happening here? Check, I have king up. Oh, his rook was just hanging. Amazingly, he did not defend that. Hurry, John. I think I'm getting flagged here. Oh, I might win this pawn. I managed to win the pawn. Okay. Secure the draw. All right, I'll take that. That wasn't too bad. Very strong player. This guy's close to 2,800. I'm not doing any rematches, just in the interest of staying in the 3-minute pool and keeping a good mix of opponents going. Tiger Nick. All right, 2,400. Yeah, that last game was tricky, for sure. I had to deal with that D-pawn. Oh, am I going to get a Xinji Indian? I love the Xinji Indian. Nope, no Xinji. Getting into kind of an English position. Okay. I think this is a pretty good line for black. I often play this against this line. This white's pawns on E3. Coordination-wise, not the greatest for them with this bishop on C1. Okay, now I kind of like taking. This is controversial, but also in this series, I want to open my game up a little bit too. So not afraid to play moves that, maybe strictly aren't completely sound. Although bishop takes C3 is pretty strategically well-founded, I should say. Doubling up these pawns, trying to hammer these weaknesses. So he advances. I'm going to go here and take with the knight if he captures. Try to keep a structural edge. Weak pawn here, still. Maybe bishop c4. I think trading the light square bishops would be desirable. Let's jump in here. Takes on d6. Okay, I'm going to pivot back. Yeah, and I think I can look forward to a nice, hopefully lengthy struggle with a strategic advantage. Lengthy as in I can grind him out from here. Okay, queen a6. I like this. Pressure this, pressure this. I'm threatening to take and take c3. Okay, so he defends. This looks simple. Just double up the rooks. This is a nice position to play because there aren't too many tactics to worry about. I mean, being alert, but I shouldn't have to stress over too many tactics. Maybe knight b5 now. This is a dual threat, this and this. Looks like he's going to have to punt a pawn. Take is a fork. Win an exchange and fork. All right. Yeah, so bishop takes c3 if I go back to that decision. This is actually what I was trying to do with the Xinji Indian, which is the following opening, knight c3. If you've been a long-time viewer of my channel, you'll know about my love for the Xinji Indian. D5, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, f5. Very strategically interesting position. Black plays queen a5, knight f6, d6, knight bd7, knight b6, bishop d7, often castles queenside, long-term pressure here. So I was trying to take that same philosophy the way the game played out. I think this is a pretty good blitz line. Black's not too weak on the dark squares because white's dark square bishop is not active. So, yeah, and he suffered with some pawn weaknesses. Even though he did play c5 and try to get rid of one of them, the c3 pawn was still weak. I think in a situation like that, you almost have to let the c3 pawn go early on so you don't get too hamstrung defending it. Okay, Bierlin, let's play my usual defense against c6. Okay, yeah, you don't see a whole lot of people playing e4. And this is usually how black wants to play. I gotta say, I'm not too up to date on the theory of this particular line. This is one line I could get better at. Let's take and play g6. I'm going to fianchetto the bishop and castle. All right. Break the pin. Probably take with a pawn no matter which way he takes. It takes that way. Okay, maybe against this one I will take with the bishop. So my bishop will be kind of passive on d7, so let's just trade. 3 pawn islands each. He might play d4, like try to put a bishop on a3, but I can try to break with e5 at some point. Okay, queen here looks normal. One of my favorite moves, queen d5. He's going to castle. Okay, he's leaving d2 hanging. I'm just going to castle. I'm going to let him take. And just play for d2 and then c3. Let him figure out the complications if he can somehow keep the pawn, but it looks tough. It looks like there may be simplifications on a mass scale happening. You know, if he moves the bishop, let's say, I take here, he takes here, I take here. But I think at minimum it's equal after that. Yeah, I probably won't have an edge. Yeah, and there he plays a move that is more complicated. I'm going to take. If he takes here, bishop takes c3 becomes possible. Or queen takes c3. Queen takes c3 also, because if he trades, I have a fork on the rooks, which is better. Also looking at back rank stuff. I mean, I really like both moves. If here, I wonder if he has rook here. I'm going to play queen takes c3, I think. Might get into some situation where I take on a1 and I get 2 rooks for the queen with a very safe king, so long as I keep my dark square bishop. He could play rook c1 here, rook a to c1. But then I can trade and maybe bishop f8. He might be somewhat pinned for quite a while on the bishop on e7. Okay, queen d7. Yeah, so that was more in terms of what I was thinking. If I take, he takes with the queen and he defends. Bishop f6 doesn't threaten much. I'm going to go for this line. Yeah, just get the two rooks for the queen. 2 rooks against a queen, usually an advantage. Big question is, how do I activate my position? I'm going to bring this back first. Maybe bishop f8. A5 comes to mind. Let's play a5 first before undertaking anything else. We'll play a4, yup. Okay, let's do this. He'll probably keep the bishops on board. Yeah. Okay, and now let's try to perhaps attack this pawn. I do have to be wary of this rerouting. So I guess it depends where he puts his bishop right now. Bishop a1 would run into check, so he can't do that. But yeah, I got to be very wary he doesn't put his queen in front of his bishop on this diagonal and threaten mate on h8. So it's possible I will need to play... I'll need to play bishop g7 somewhere. Ooh, okay, that's an annoying move, but I can give a check. I suppose I should keep this for now. But yeah, I do have to watch out for the scenario I was describing if he moves his bishop now. But I can attack that bishop in a number of ways. Clock is good. Okay, let's just try to set up a future attack on this pawn. Maybe bishop e1 if I can sneak that in. Bishop e1, bishop d4 though. All right, fair. Keep things coordinated. Maybe h5 or h6 even. Yeah, h6 is interesting here. Oh no, I can't take though. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, he's just shuffling. Makes sense. I'm gonna rearrange. Can I play bishop c3 coming up? Bishop c3. Yeah, if he takes, I take with check. Finally, I can get rid of this bishop. If he goes here, I can double the rooks and defend everything. Same on that one. He might move his king back, so take. I can't recapture. Okay, yeah, or do something like that. But I feel like he should gradually lose this pawn. And actually, right away, he's going to lose the pawn. Okay, check. Okay, this is fantastic now. Keep it coordinated, keep stuff defended. I don't really care about losing the a-pawn. Yeah, okay, now we got this. Now we definitely have this. All right, that's for sure the name of the game in time pressure, especially in a situation like that. Keep the rooks defending each other. You know, possibly I had some way to disconnect the rooks favorably and attack a weakness there, but I didn't see it. So you got to keep rapid fire moves, and it's so much harder to be white there in that position because, you know, white's down 1 point of material for one thing, but just the mere coordination aspects of the position are working against white. Okay, so I was in the pool again, got paired with this player again. Playing some mainline stuff this time around. Okay, let's play b3, just defend that pawn. I'm willing to bet he plays a little bit faster this game, kind of as an adjustment. Ooh, okay, interesting. His bishop looks suspicious there, because now after this I'm threatening a3, so... Right, yeah, this is awkward for him. Rook a7. This almost begs a tactical solution. That said, I don't see one. Let's just play a3, knight c3, knight b5. Like, try to work into the b5 square. Got to be aware of e5 stuff when you got a bishop and knight in pawn fork distance here, but this looks pretty enticing. Okay, he's preparing the d7 square. Also e5, the fork is now prepared. So, okay, let's jump in like this. Rook d7, and then maybe just move the queen. Or play e4. e4, knight c6, though. Let's move the queen. He might be able to play d5 here. Didn't calculate it fully, but don't want to fall too far behind on the clock. d5, I mean, at minimum I can take. It's fine. He might end up with an isolated pawn. Next I'm going to play rook fd1, I think. I'm going to use this rook because this rook might be handy still on the a file or queen side. Overprotects a3 if d5 is played. Yeah, he's got some coordination issues. Can't develop the knight. It's the one piece he hasn't gotten to the game yet. Okay, that I think is clear prep for developing the knight. Maybe taking advantage of c-file stuff. So now I'm going to overprotect my queen, so if d5 takes, I'm a little bit better prepared. Okay, let's just do this. Expect knight c6 here. This move also, I'm just noticing now, that asks a pretty awkward question here because he can't defend with the queen on these squares. I cover both of them. I should have played this on the previous move because he would have had perhaps bishop d8, although yeah, even that was taken away. He can take b5 and play queen a6, but that forfeits the bishop pair. It looks pretty bad. Okay, he's going to give the exchange. I'm not going to hesitate. Strong bishop, but an exchange is an exchange. Little trap here. Well played. Okay, let's just block this diagonal. I don't want his light square bishop getting too active. And his queen especially coming to this diagonal too. Looking at knight a4 here. Bishop f4, bishop f2. Knight g4 might be a threat. I kind of like forcing the queen away, just so I don't have to deal with stuff like that. Force the queen away first. Maybe then bishop f2, just come back. Okay, here, he can bring this back again, but repeating when I'm up on the clock is always a nice situation. Okay, here, can I take on b6 now? Take b6, queen c6, take d8, knight takes f3. I can think about it, but I can also just play something like this, and if on queen c6, just reinforce f3, like queen c3. Yeah, he's really goading me into taking there. Okay, but now he dropped this pawn. Very important. And I stopped queen c6 as well. Okay. Double. Bishop d5 maybe? Bishop d5, rook takes on d7. Or rook takes b6. Looks good. Okay. F4. F4 weakens the diagonal. It's probably fine, though. I mean, it wins a lot of material. Yeah, f4. Force the knight away. Knight g4, take d7. Queen c6. At minimum, I have rook takes b7. e4 also looks pretty nice here. I'm going to go with this one, just for simplicity's sake. Rook takes gets back rank mated, so he can't take that way. And now let's just get that knight out of there. I don't want to deal with that anymore. Up material, looking good. Jump the knight in. Stay active. Not going to sweat over the a-pawn. Rook d3. Okay, let's repeat. I'm just going to roll this. Rook b2, queen d3. Oh man. I thought he was going to play rook b2. That was not a good scenario right there. Okay. But the time situation looking great. He never used his a-pawn. Yeah. I did that in a game entitled Tuesday a few months ago, where I was just anticipating they were going to play a certain rook move, and they never played that. They played the rook to a different rank, one rank away. Yeah. I mean, I thought for sure he was playing rook b2 here was his big idea, and I was just going to play queen d3 and say, okay, queen trade. I guess even here he has rook b3, but yeah, I mean, this position should be winning for white somehow. Queen c4 perhaps looks good. But yeah, he played rook b3 instead. All right, but that's where that time advantage, again, like really shows its value. Yeah, and I think one telling thing from this game, there were a couple moments where, when I said that black's position almost demands a tactical refutation, I really felt that. But the amount of time it would have taken to perhaps find like the absolute computer-approved best way to play this position, it may not be worth it in a 3-minute game. Like, yes, if I had more time in an actual game, long time control, rapid game or something, I would have looked for it. And as I said, like here, bishop e3, right at this moment, would have been very good attacking this pawn. But it didn't affect things. We throw in rook fd1 and h6, and I still got in bishop e3. And it was working out really well for me. Okay, just making sure. How many games have I played? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, a few more games. 4 more left in the session. Not perfect conversion, but I did achieve a winning position with plenty of time on the clock. Let's stick with this flank opening. I seem to be having pretty good results with this. Let's play d6. Play it Peart style. Yeah, this line. All right, let's play c6. Play b5. I'm actually not too familiar with this variation. I think bishop h6 is the main move here. Okay. All right, let's play b4. I'm going to offer him the b pawn. I'm not going to get too attached to that. He's going to try to storm. Makes sense. Queen a5. Queen a5, king b1 is always annoying, so let's do this. This is not the best decision, but I want to be practical about my time management. Oh, and he takes. I think g5 would have been better there, but he takes. I'm actually pretty happy about that development. Because now he's got a weak pawn here. I'm blocking the h-file. I'm stopping knight g3. Okay. Knight g3 is possible here for sure. And then just take his bishop on f1. I think I like that because I can develop with bishop a6 maybe later. Yeah, let's do this. But for now, I'm just going to go here just to discourage h5. But yeah, I've got this in my back pocket if I want it. Just a nice situation. A4, queen takes b4. Probably not the best. Let's play here. Use the queen. Try to come up here. That helps along the 5th rank. Also maybe in conjunction with this move. So let's do this. Looks like a nice square for the queen. Also stops e5. A couple defenders there. He's going for it. I think I should take with a pawn. Because I think he wants to trade knights if I would have taken then jump the other knight into that square. Okay. Now I can still bail to the queen side if I want to. Which I may avail myself of that opportunity. Yeah, he's getting a little more counterplay here than I would have liked. Bishop e6 perhaps. Let's do that. Okay, there's going to be some trades on h5. Tactically, I may have a few issues with that bishop. If he takes with the knight, where am I putting that bishop? Yeah, this is a problem. Do I sack the exchange? Sack the exchange and then queen a4? I don't know about that. No, that should be losing. All right, I got to use a little time here, even though I don't like to. This position is just bad. Rook g8 takes. All right, I don't see like a really good alternative than this. D5. I actually could have played queen a4 because rook h8. I had bishop f8. Weird idea. Then rook takes f8, rook h8. All right, don't beat yourself up about it. It's fine. Okay, let's go here. I need to castle queenside like a bad habit. Now rook h8. I have to go back here. Yeah, I think it's bishop f8, bishop h6 rather after that. That is winning. Maybe bishop c8 was better. Can also perhaps sacrifice here and win somehow. He's looking for a forced win, but I think bishop h6 is pretty sufficient. Oh, he's going to sack. Okay. Well, let's see it. Queen g5. Yeah. Okay. Does that win? Yeah, that wins. Queen h6 if I play there. E5 doesn't change much. King g6 doesn't change much. Okay. Yep. We'll allow the checkmate. Okay. Yeah. H5 turned out to be a pretty good idea, I think, for white. Yeah, these trades. I didn't find a good solution here. Bishop e6 is perhaps a bad move. Maybe I already need to defend my rook here. I don't have a good feeling about this position, though. Yeah, I think I probably am losing after he takes on h5. Really wanted to play queen a4, but again, this move, And something like this, king d7, take. I am threatening mate in 1 here, but should be easy enough for white to defend. Run with the king. Okay, all right. That was just a well-played game, I think, by white. Yeah, that's funny, because I was initially pretty excited about white taking on h5. I thought that gave me an easier position, but didn't turn out that way. Got to go back to the lab on that opening. All right, Luco chess. Let's play the queen a5 variation. Team Scandy, hashtag Team Scandy. Thanks for the support, guys. Okay, bishop f5. Let's take. Pretty simple stuff. I think black should be fine in this structure. White's already traded a little bit. Knight e5, I'll probably take it. There's no real discoveries here that are bad for me, so let's just castle. It's one thing you get used to in this opening, being a bit of a daredevil with your queen on a5 and the bishop on d2. Just got to check, make sure the knight doesn't have any truly dangerous discoveries. But I mean, he'll probably play knight e4 if he plays the knight anywhere, and I can just pull the queen back here, which is kind of its natural square. This doesn't really change much, so let's just go here. b4, I'm happy to go back. I have my sights set on this pawn, eventually. Trade. Okay, now c5 may be more of an issue for him. I like the look of it, especially if he has to play c3. Okay, I could take, queen b6, or queen b6 right away. Queen b6 right away has some advantages. Let's do it. Just ask him how he's going to defend these. If knight c4, maybe queen a6 puts him in an awkward pin. Okay, he's daring me to take on b2. I see your point. I see why it may not be a good idea for me to do that. I'm going to go here. And if he takes, I might take on b2 at that point. I'm a little undecided, but maybe. Or I might play queen c7 even. Queen c7 is interesting. I like that better. Queen takes here. I'm not sure about the complications of this. And then he gets at b7. I was thinking about taking on c3, but this seems like a pretty good compromise. Bishop takes, or f6 and then e5. Can play f6 and e5 here. Looks interesting. Let's try it. So I'm not taking the pawn, but trying to change the structure a little bit, exploit this semi-awkward position on the file. He might have queen c4 here. I haven't worked that out in its entirety, but I think I can take... Yeah, actually that stops knight e3. I was just thinking if he could turn the tables here. But if he has to play bishop e3 now, at minimum I can take, queen takes, and then bishop takes c5. Feels like I should be a little bit better there. Bishop versus the knight. His knight's a little awkward. Tick-tock. I like to see that clock winding down. For my opponent, not me. Briefly looking for something better. His knight doesn't have a lot of squares, but let's just take. I don't think I need to entertain anything like h5 yet. Okay, there. Knight h6 is not really a threat. Rook in. Rook in is probably fine. b4, I'll just drop this back. Okay. Be careful. Queen d7, knight h6, king g8, king h8. Let's go here. I think this is a bit better. You need to be able to take with a rook. Opponent has a knight, so you always got to be a little careful. But I think with h5, ooh, that move. Okay, wasn't expecting that. Doesn't look very good. Queen here. Now let's kick his... Whoa, what's happening? Okay. Now let's play queen here first. Let's play over here. I could take b2, but I don't want to lose the initiative. If he goes rook d1 and somehow gangs up on my king. Okay, let's take. Probably just g6 here. This seems far-fetched. Ooh, and now double attack. Okay, looking good. Must be winning here. Force a favorable queen trade. Let's now take. Check. 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 Nice mating pattern. Control the g3 square, the g3 flight square. All right. Yeah, I didn't play queen takes b2. His rook me1 move looked really awkward. Didn't play queen takes b2 though because right here it seemed to me he might be able to do this and then get the rook to d7. That was a blitz decision. This might be completely fine for black, but I didn't want to have to deal with that and suddenly start thinking how I stop all his pieces from coordinating against my king just for one pawn in a time scramble situation. So yeah, I like that. I think this plan of playing f6 and then going e5 was a good one, especially from a practical point of view, as opposed to just playing bishop takes c5 right around here. So White's coordination looked a little suspect here with the knight undefended, my existing threat against the bishop, and especially my rook on the white queen on d3. So that's why I did this. Change the pawn structure slightly. But you can see, look at White's clock. So right here, after I played queen c7, we're still pretty close on the clock, 159 to 145. But just 3 moves later, White burned a whole minute, and they're already under a minute. And I have the same time I started that sequence with, essentially. So that's huge if you can spot sequences like that. Okay, I think I have 2 more games left in my 10-game run. Miloš Tibi. Okay. We're not going to count that one. Let me just count the number of games because I don't want to go over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 2 more games. I'm playing in the evening U.S. Central Time. It's getting close to 9 o'clock p.m. And a lot of people online in 3-minute pool. It's good to see. Can Huan, 2490. All right, get another chance for Skandy. Play the queen a5 variation again. Theoretically speaking, I believe this line is in a bit of trouble. Some hot water, but White really has to know what they're doing to prove it. And most people just play pretty standard moves against the Skandy. They don't try to theoretically punish it. Okay, White could try to go after my light square bishop with knight h4, but I can play bishop g4. Now I'm going to play h6 because this, I think, is clear preparation for knight h4, trying to chase. So I do like doing this. I have a similar line in my queen d8 Skandy repertoire. Okay, happy to trade. No big deal. Okay, let's castle. Probably White's going to prepare knight e5. That would be the most logical, straightforward plan in this position. I think I'm going to move my queen back here just to avoid alignment issues. And if knight e5, maybe be able to take. Okay, let's get the rooks all lined up. And now the real battle begins. Yeah, I'm going to take. I don't mind this transformation usually. Knight d5, knight d5, knight e4. Okay, I can hunker with the knight versus the bishop. That's all right. Oh, and I can take e5, actually. Knight e4, queen takes e5 is possible. Yeah. I didn't see that initially. I was planning on playing bishop takes e4, which was a bit of a concession if that were to happen. Okay, back. Interesting. Seems like he's going for c4. So let's try to confound that plan. Attempt to keep my knight here. Yep, he's still going for c4. That is clear. It's all there. Black and white. Clear as crystal. Take a knight e7 or take a knight c3. Take a knight c3. I lose c6 at the end. Let's take and probably knight e7. Thinking briefly again about knight c3, but yeah, knight e7 I think is fine. Let's attack this guy. Pretty solid around my king. His knight looks misplaced. Let's go here. I'd like to use that square for my knight, ideally, but I want to keep this open for my king just to avoid back rank problems. Okay. All right. c5. We're going to trade on c6, most likely. And then I'll play rook f8. No, he pauses. All right. Happy to see a pause. Yeah, let's play rook f8. Could take on d1 and play rook d8, but I'm going to keep a little bit more tension. Maybe this rook will prove handy somehow. Okay, rook d4 looks interesting here. As if he takes twice, that rook on e1 hangs. So this might be a good time to wedge my other rook in. Pre-move this capture. Okay, I could be seizing back the initiative now. I really like my bishop. Also, with my last move, rook d4, I'm stopping bishop e4 if he wants to try to trade with me. And my next move, very easy to play. Great situation in Blitz when you can play an easy, effortless move next. Now rook d3 is becoming a possibility. Ooh, I have a hard time resisting this. Gotta push this pawn. If rook d1, it can take e5. Also, just d2 looks good. Now let's take e5. Let's bring this up. And I think, even though he might... Oh, I blundered that. That was bad. Man. That was a bad blunder. Miss bishop b7. Okay. All right. Don't lose faith. You can still make something happen here, John. Queen f4 is probably good. Looking for some sort of swindling chances. That's tough. It's rook e1. Okay, he didn't play that. Let's hide the king now. I can just push h5. It gets worse. Man. It's just brutal. We'll take e4 with his bishop after this. Yeah. Rook c6. Okay. Bishop takes. Oh, wow. that was unexpected. Oh man. All right. Well, that was a dirty one. That was very dirty, viewers, kind viewers. But I just didn't see what to do. Might as well attack the queen, the undefended queen, huh? Yeah, I missed that he had bishop b7. I was already imagining my pawn coming up to e4 and locking out his bishop. So I just got to take a little more care here. Play rook c8 first. Rook c8, change up the move order. Then if c7, I have time to come back and take this pawn. So, all right, though. Seems I'm having some luck this session, too. So, last game. Morabio. Let's play d4 again. Been sticking with d4. All right, in the QGA, I'll play knight f3 just to discourage e5. Underrated opening, the QGA. Let's play a4. If you don't like IQPs, then you should look away. I am playing an IQP. Pin, try to get the pawn back. Standard stuff. Let's jump in. Okay. Let's pull this back. I'm not going to take that bishop yet. Let's take. Okay, let's take here. Let's try to grind some slight edge out of this. Swing over here. Attack some weaknesses. He's playing pretty quick. It's a good position. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's maybe some cracks in the facade appearing here. b6 could be played, but then his queen has to stay guarding that. I think this queen b3 move is a little awkward. If I can provoke him into playing f6, I think I'm pretty happy. Like, knight pivoting back to d3 is always nice. Even though he has the two bishops, it's not a position that's truly conducive to the bishops yet. Like, his bishop that I don't have a counterpart to, the light square bishop, is not all that effective here. Let's do this. My rook's not doing anything. Okay, I could take on c8 now and play maybe knight c6, or play knight c6 immediately. That wins a pawn, does it not? Yeah, checks out. Okay, let's take. Pausing for a second just because I want to make sure that move is safe, but instinctually, it seems to be good to me. Looking at knight. Okay, let's do this. If he moves this bishop, like if he takes knight e7, immediately wins. Okay, I can play f4 now, perhaps. He's not actually threatening anything on c1, so maybe I can just take this. I think I can. Play faster, John. f4 came to mind too, but didn't want to weaken my king unnecessarily. Just take a pawn. f4 also kind of strands my bishop out here, if ever he plays f6. Okay, let's move this rook somewhere. Where to move it? Now f4? Let's play f4 now. I know I said I didn't want to do that, but I think it's actually okay now. I can always take d8 later, and if he plays bishop d8, I'm noticing that I have this, and then knight e7 maybe. No, actually that's not a good idea. All right, but we'll figure it out. We're up 2 pawns. Time's all right. He takes. Okay, wow. I think this should lose for him somehow. Just take. I think knight e7 is going to land. Yeah, if queen takes, knight e7 check. He's going down more material. Yeah, check. I take c8 with check. Okay. Which way to take? Knight takes or rook takes? Probably knight takes. Just making sure there's no back rake issues. I don't think there are. Queen takes d4, king h1. This is always a way to simplify if I need to play that. Yeah, this should be too much. All right. Yeah, he was playing with fire by leaving that e7 square defended only once by the dark square bishop. That's why I was trying to deflect his bishop here. Yeah, so that position after queen b3, a little awkward for black, actually. I think maybe here he should not have played knight d5. Probably bishop c6 was better. Move the bishop here, and often white has this dilemma whether to take the light square bishop in this line against the IQP. But I like how that turned out. Okay, so that was 10 games, and I believe I scored 8.5 out of 10. Great score. I'm very happy about that. Lost that one game to SKJ, but I think I did a lot of correct things. Had that very hard-fought draw against the Chinese player who was almost 2,800, but kept the pressure on. I think that game against SKJ was one of the few where, I didn't have a great position and I was behind on the clock. This was the game in question. But 1 out of 10, especially to start this series, 1 out of 10 that I wasn't happy about, I will take that any day. So I feel like I played overall quite a good session. So if you have any feedback on this series, let me know. Again, my goal is to stay ahead on the clock, or at least even with my opponents in this series, and letting the chips fall as they may with the results. And this is a bit of an experiment to see how my results compare to how I normally play, where my perfectionist tendencies are often coming into the picture. So hopefully I can get rid of those over time. But fun session in this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So I'll be back again soon with another video, and have a good one, guys. Bye.